Hey guys, Christina here for your Wednesdays on GenderqueerChat. The topic this week is a topic that I came up with, which is, do you experience dysphoria with some parts of your body? If so, how do you deal with it? And the second half of the question is, also, how do you view your typically feminine, masculine body parts as female or male body parts, or as androgynous slash non-gendered because you identify as a genderqueer person. So, okay. So first half of the question. Yes, I do experience dysphoria to some extent. As I think I've mentioned a while ago, I'm pretty okay with what's called like primary sexual characteristics. So I don't have really bottom dysphoria, but I do have issues with my secondary sexual characteristics, such as I'm not the biggest fan of my chest, and I'm not the biggest fan of my hips. I think, depending on the circumstance, I think I have more of an issue with my hips than with my chest, because hips, you can make them a little bit smaller with exercise because there's fat on them, and with testosterone because, again, there's fat on them, so fat redistribution, but you can't change bone. So that's kind of disappointing. Same with my height. Now, I'm 5'5", so I'm not like super short or anything, but I would ideally like to be, a couple inches taller, to have more of a in-between androgynous height as opposed to where I'm at right now. Ideally, I'd like to be like 5'7" or something. But, yeah. So, dysphoria. Yeah, I have dysphoria, every now and then. How do I deal with it? It's interesting. This whole past month of March, I've kind of been more dysphoric, and I don't know why. Just for, I don't know what reason, but I've kind of just been a little bit more dysphoric than normal. So I've been binding a little bit more, which is difficult because I have a large chest. Large-ish. I mean, there are many FTMs out there and genderqueer people born physically female who can bind my size of a chest, which are D's. Just may as well throw that out there. Yeah, so, but it's a little bit tough. The interesting part is that when I don't bind, if I'm wearing a bra, I don't really think about my chest as much, because I don't know if it's just because I've been wearing bras for so many years now that I'm just kind of used to that feeling, and I'm not aware of my chest as much when I'm wearing a bra. If I'm binding, I am more hyper aware of my chest because I'm actively trying to hide it. So I'm, aware of where it is on my body, and kind of, because, like I said, like, it's difficult for me to bind my chest. I've never really had great success with it. Only when I'm wearing, like, a very select few kinds of clothing does it really work. So, yeah, it's kind of an issue. I wish that I could find a better binder, or I've considered going down the route of getting a breast reduction, possibly. But with that being said, I still want to be proportionate, because I don't want to end up having a really small chest and a, stomach, which I have, because that would be a little bit awkward, in case there are times when I wanted to appear to have a female chest. Anyways, so, yeah, there's not really much that I can do about my dysphoria. I wish there was more that I could do about it. Lately, I've also considered well, I considered this before, but more and more lately, taking a very, very small amount of testosterone in order to, I don't know, see what those effects are. I mean, it's going to be like next to nothing, but it's better than nothing, I think. It might, at the very least, it might give a little confidence to me or something. So I'd like to do that at some point. I guess I'm not really the biggest fan of my whole face. It's not really, I mean, there's issues with I just don't like the way I look, period. Um, like, that has nothing to do with gender, as other people have said. But in terms of gender, I'm not a huge fan of my jaw line. I wish it was more square. I like my brow line. I feel like that's a semi-masculine looking area of my face. But, yeah, my jaw I'm not as much of a fan of. So, yeah, more and more reasons to, I mean, I don't expect it to really change that if I'm taking a small amount of testosterone, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. So I figured I would bring this up. A few days ago, okay, I'm in a choir, and a few days ago I had a short discussion with my choral director about my voice, and obviously I have a lower voice than the average female-bodied person. So we talked about how he thinks I would blend better with altos, which are the lower female voice, as opposed to tenors, which is the high male voice. So you got soprano, alto, tenor, bass. I am in the tenors. I'm with the dudes, which is awesome, and there's so many good things about that. But he was saying that I don't always blend very well with them. Sometimes I'm okay, sometimes not so much. So I don't know. We'll see how things go with that. I kind of felt like more dysphoric about, and I've like never been dysphoric about my voice, except when people are like, "Hey, you should be an alto," and I'm like, "But I don't want to be singing with girls. There's like, I just don't want to do that." And I know it's like I'm lucky to have the voice that I have, but it's still kind of like, I don't know, it's still kind of. So that's another reason why I've considered taking a little bit of testosterone, is to maybe slightly masculinize my voice even more, which, I haven't really had an issue with, but I guess I am now, so, yeah. So I've been doing some reading about, because there's more to the human voice than just what pitch it's at. So, like, as my choral director said, I have the range of a tenor, but my tone, which is different, resonance, tone, all that sort of stuff, isn't as, masculine or whatever as the average dude. So, average cis man. So, yeah, I kind of don't know where I'm going with this, but I've kind of felt dysphoric about my voice lately, is basically how it's been. And he was saying, and I know this is kind of drifting away from the topic, but he was saying that, he thinks that even if someone born physically female takes testosterone, that there's still going to be some sort of physical difference between the vocal cords of a, FTM post-testosterone as compared to a cis guy. Which I think is, I'm gonna call BS on that one. I don't know if that's true. I don't think that's true. So I'm gonna have to ask him where he got his sources on that information. So it's kind of that would be kind of a disappointing thing to think about. Because I always thought there was, no difference between an FTM. I mean, sometimes there's a difference, you can tell, but, I don't know. I didn't think that there was a legitimate, I don't know, physical difference. Anyways, to the second half of the question, do I consider my typically masculine female parts as being actually male or female parts, or as androgynous or non-gendered. So as a couple other people have said, I don't really think about my body all that much, or I didn't, but now that, since coming out as genderqueer and realizing that I'm not, just a female, I've kind of been more aware of masculine and feminine body parts. So, as I said, like, for example, I don't really think about my chest when I'm wearing a bra. In my head, I think that I look, and here's the thing, in my head, like, my whole body, I think that I look slightly thinner, and definitely more masculine than I actually do. So, I think of myself as being more, like, when I think of my chest, I don't necessarily think of it as this, like, super hyper feminine thing. To other people, obviously it is, but in my everyday life, it's not like, my hips are I kind of do notice that, because as I mentioned a long time ago, it kind of changes the way that you walk. So I'm kind of aware of that. I'm not always aware of my chest. So anyway, that is that. Oh yeah, the bonus question. What was your favorite concert or show or what have you? My favorite concerts, I've been to, if you guys know Lights, I've seen her at least 3 times now, and I'm gonna see her for the 4th time in May. Because she's one of my favorite artists, but she's also not super, super, super famous, so she's actually affordable to watch, which is good. Her tickets usually only cost around $40, which isn't that bad, as opposed to, for example, a few weeks ago I saw Great Big Sea, and my ticket cost $100, and that was kind of a little bit more than I would usually pay for a concert. So, that was a little bit expensive. A little bit more than a little bit expensive. So, yeah. So I've seen Lights several times, and that has been fantastic. And I've been able to, she has come out to meet her fans afterwards, all the times that I've seen her. So that's been freaking awesome. Most of the concerts I've seen, however, have been at the Calgary Stampede, where they have the Coca-Cola stage, and because I live in, I just gave away where I live, because I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and yeah, so there's the Calgary Stampede, and the Coca-Cola stage has bands, and you can see them for free with admission to the Calgary Stampede. So I've seen several awesome bands there. My favorite, well, I've seen Lights there. I saw her a couple years ago there. 1 or 2 years ago, something like that. And I saw, my first favorite one that I saw was probably Sam Roberts, because that was the first time that I was at a show where he kind of, the artist, I had been to a couple concerts at the Coca-Cola stage prior to that, but that time he got the audience to sing along and participate, and that was really, really cool. So that was also one of my favorite concerts. Anyways, I'm totally rambling. I enjoyed everybody else's videos this week, and I'm looking forward to other videos for the next 3 days on this topic. I'm excited to see how you guys answer my topic, and yeah. So I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.